So the scenic designer, lighting designer, costume designer, sometimes sound, all of that. We are a little different, I suppose, than everybody else. So I don't know. I guess there's a little bit of a fellowship to that. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going with this, but the thought being that what I like to do when I work on a show is meet with as many people that are available as possible. I don't know if you all are the same way. That the scenic designer, costume designer, lighting designer, director, and then bring in the writer at some point. But there's no one idea from any particular person. I think that the diversity of ideas and thoughts coming from just about anybody, or one of the things I often say about what I do is I just give them right back what they asked for. A couple years ago I did A View from the Bridge, revival of A View from the Bridge, and what Michael Mayer, the director, had said was, I almost want to put it in the middle of President Street in Brooklyn, so I did. It was a street, and that was all it was. You know what I mean? And it was a relatively successful production, but he came with at least that as his thought. Some directors, as you say, you work with Chris Ashley a lot, and that doesn't come with specifics, but you design the play together. And he does. I found it over the years. I realized I started understanding my process, and if I work with somebody new, I have to explain to the director what it looks like is irrelevant for a really long time. You know what I mean? And that's a bit of a surprise for some people. Well, you're a designer. It's really all about what it looks like. But it's like, no, it's not about. We'll figure that out later. It's, what is it that we're trying to do here, trying to say, trying to be, and then we'll ultimately, I promise you'll have an idea of what it looks like before we open.
No.
I actually don't notice the distinction of budgets between regional theaters and Broadway. There's just more zeros on Broadway, but
Yeah,
it's the truth. I think you all would agree that it's the same problems. The same, for the most part, the same situations. You have a little bit of leverage when you're remounting a show because there's at least a bit of a precedent, That was a situation we talk about the smell of failure, where we had a tremendous amount of money, but getting things done was hard in many ways. And again, not to get so particular, but the shops just wouldn't show, because they knew it's not going to work. They sort of sensed the sense of failure. And so getting anything done, even though we had the money, was problematic because it was just this sort of treadmill of, the scenery shop, they make more money, they don't show up, So getting things done in that one was particularly difficult because we already had that sense of failure. When you get nothing, that's when you fail. And when you're working completely in a void, which
It's supposed to be really hard.
Oh, you have no idea. Hopefully, you'll never experience it. Yeah,
no.
But it does happen where. What sometimes happens is that they'll go, okay, hire that designer because their work's good, so I won't have to worry about the set. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to think what the best part is. I think that I wouldn't be able to set myself up in a garret somewhere with a bunch of canvases and paint because I'd just be now what It's what I mean. The artist.
I feel exactly the same.
You know what I
way.
mean?
Like,
yeah. We get to cheat. You get to. I don't call myself an artist, but I could. We get to cheat because there's a script and there's another person that you're going to talk to, or a group of people. They're going to help you create something, and then you'll get all the credit if it's good. It's great.